If you guys needed any proof of my assertions up to this point, that Star would make a better ruler than Eclipsa at this point in both of their lives, this episode should be all the evidence that you need. Swimsuit is another fantastic episode to come out of this season so far, in the tradition of this season up to this point, because Star and Marco are both in the episode, but the episode deals with a more serious topic. Marco's doing hilarious stuff in the background throughout the entire thing. I'm not going to get super into it or describe it too carefully, because the best part of this episode, I think, is watching all the Marco stuff in the background. But I will say, just to pique your interest, that it's essentially a physical comedy routine about Marco trying to find his swimsuit because Star is dragging him and Tom off to the beach so that they can take that picture that she got from Father Time, the one that convinced her that they were going to find Moon again, because she thinks that it's time for that picture to be taken. I don't think it is. I think that picture is going to be more important down the line, but she thinks it's time. But end of the day, they don't get to go, in part because Marco can't find his swimsuit. Like, not to say that the more serious A-plot of the episode wasn't also really good, but there's a reason why this episode is named after Marco's swimsuit. It was definitely the highlight of the episode. That said, the more serious A-plot was interesting. I would imagine that due to Moon reminding her in the previous episode that she can't undo Romulus's crystal without Romulus, Eclipsa has finally admitted that she needs Romulus to free Globgor. So she calls Star in to help her with something, and we get this absolutely hilarious shot of Romulus just like all twisted up and mangled by a whole bunch of Eclipsa's spells stacked on top of each other. And it's horrifying, don't get me wrong, but I mean, Romulus is fine, and Star's reaction to it is just precious, as is Eclipsa's panickiness over what she's done. Thankfully, Star, acting as a calming presence, is able to remind Eclipsa that if she just undoes her spells in reverse, Romulus should come out of this fine. And so that's what she does, and it's a cool scene. It's really genuinely cool to see Star acting as such an effective advisor for Eclipsa. And once Romulus is freed, the two of them are able to talk, and even though Star is still being distracted by the background stuff with Marco in his swimsuit, she's able to help sort of mediate that discussion. But neither side is willing to give. Romulus still sees Eclipsa and Globgor as evil, and Eclipsa still needs Romulus to save Globgor. And any progress that they made towards finding an understanding is undone when Eclipsa, being impulsive, she is such an impulsive character, even to her detriment, even now. She uses a dark magic spell to switch bodies with Romulus, like just straight up take control of him, so that she can use his powers to undo his crystal. That's evil. I mean, I know Eclipsa herself isn't evil, but that is a very evil thing to do. And I get why, once Star convinces her to switch bodies back and admit that what she did was wrong, Romulus is no longer willing to hear her out. She made a huge mistake here. I honestly think that she could have convinced Romulus to at least hear her out. But now that's done. I wouldn't be surprised if at this point, after doing this, the entire High Commission isn't gunning for her ass. Like, the scene where they reveal what Eclipsa did is brilliantly staged. We discover what's going on as Star discovers what's going on, and it's horrifying, and her horrified reaction to it is entirely appropriate. And honestly, it was pretty gosh darn similar to my own. Like, I know that Eclipsa uses a lot of darker magic, but I didn't think she'd go there. And I believe that she recognizes that what she did was wrong and why it was wrong, and that she was genuinely apologetic at the end. And at the end of the day, she didn't permanently harm anyone. So it's not like my entire perception of the character is going to shift a lot after this, but it definitely did shift, at least a little bit. Like, what if she decides impulsively, again, to do something crazy like this, something crazy bad like this, and Star isn't there to talk her down? Like, I don't think she should have been imprisoned in Crystal for all of eternity or anything, but I definitely, more than ever, think that she should not be running this kingdom. And the fact that the episode can make me feel all of these things and make me completely reconsider my impressions of a character who I still like, don't get me wrong, I still like her, but who I liked a whole lot more very immediately, while still being so funny in the background with a completely different plotline, which doesn't connect to it at all, and yet neither one seemed to rob the other of any of its momentum. That's saying something. This is a fantastic example of how good the writing in this show can be. There's a episode coming up a couple episodes down the line that I think fails at showing that, but this is a shining example of the heights that this show's writing can reach. As per usual though, guys, I'd like to know, what do you think of Swimsuit if you have seen it? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord, link in the description. But either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.